Hello and welcome to SATV News. This is Nahin Tahir with our headlines. Bangladesh saw gross violation of human rights during military regime after 1975. Prime Minister said to UN Human Rights Chief. Political goodwill of Bangladesh important to counter climate change, said UN Rights Chief Michelle Bachelet. Experts emphasizes on increasing capability of renewable fuel and gas uplifting. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina today said Bangladesh had witnessed a gross violation of human rights during the long military regime after the 1975 carnage. We were even barred from seeking justice, she said, while UN High Commissioner for Human Rights Michelle Bachelet paid a courtesy call on her at her official Ganabhavan residence here. Prime Minister Press Secretary Ihsan Al-Karim briefed the newsmen after the meeting. The Premier said father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, along with most of his family members, were brutally assassinated on August 15 in 1975. The UN High Commissioner said she was deeply moved after visiting the Bangabandhu Memorial Museum. During the meeting, they discussed the current world issues and agreed that the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war and the counter-sanction have created crises across the globe. Bachelet requested Bangladesh Prime Minister to create a scope for education and employment for Rohingyas in Cox's Bazar. The Premier replied that they can arrange those scopes for Rohingyas in Bhasanchar. Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, State Minister Muhammad Shahriar Alam, Prime Minister's Principal Secretary Dr. Ahmed Kaikouas and UN Press Resident Coordinator in Dhaka Gwen Lewis were present. Michelle Bachelet, United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, has said Bangladesh is one of the countries most vulnerable to the effects of climate change, and the country's political goodwill is important to counter it. She said while attending an event titled Young Scholars Meet, arranged by the Bangladesh Institute of International and Strategic Studies (BIISS) in the capital Wednesday. Climate change is affecting human rights everywhere for everyone. We know it's wherever we are, we see it and we feel it. At least 3.3 billion people are highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. Those who are already in vulnerable situation in this crisis will suffer negative effects and are at risk of suffering more acutely, Bachelet said in her speech as a chief guest. She noted that the social and economic structures make disadvantaged people, marginalized or vulnerable people more vulnerable to the negative impacts of the climate change. A Chattogram tribunal today sentenced 5 members of the banned militant group Jamaat al-Mujahid in Bangladesh (JMB) to death for the bomb attack on a naval base in Chattogram. Chattogram Anti-Terrorism Tribunal Judge Abdul Halim pronounced the verdict and also fined them Taka 50,000 each, reports our Chattogram staff correspondent. The death row convicts are Shakawat Hussain, Abdul Mannan, Ramzan Ali, Abdul Ghaffar and Bablu Rahman, also known as Ronnie. Among the convicts, Shakawat remains absconding while the 4 others were present in the courtroom when the verdict was pronounced. The JMB attackers detonated bombs at the mosque during Jummah prayers on December 18, 2015. The incident left 24 defense personnel and civilians injured. A Supreme Court lawyer today filed a writ petition with the High Court seeking Taka 1 crore in compensation for the families of the 5 people who were killed after a segment of a box girder of the project fell from a crane on a car at Uttara in Dhaka on August 15. On behalf of Advocate Zakaria Khan, lawyer Shahjan Akan Masum submitted the petition as a public interest litigation to the High Court. The petitioner also requested the court to seek report from the Bus Rapid Transit BRT on the step it has taken to ensure public safety in its project in the last 5 years. He also urged the court to direct the authorities concerned to ensure safety measures in the projects of BRTP. Earlier, deceased Fahima Akhtar and Jahanar Akhtar's brother Afran Mondal Babu filed a case at the Uttara West police station. Energy experts should emphasize on increasing the capability of renewable fuel and gas uplifting to solve the current energy and fuel crisis. They were speaking during a roundtable meeting organized by the Citizen and Good Governance Shujon at the National Press Club in the Dhaka this morning. Focusing on the various statistics of energy sector, speakers said that the lack of exploration and gradual dependency on foreign energy are responsible for the present energy and fuel crisis in the country. Secretary of Shujon, Baidur Alam Majumdar, suggested that concerned authorities to decrease their dependency on imported fuel. Instead, new gas fields should be discovered to solve the present energy crisis. Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi today said one of the reasons for the recent price hike of the daily commodities is traders' exploitation of the situation. He made the comment in response to the question from the reporters at the press conference at the Secretariat in Dhaka. Regarding the unusual price hike of the daily commodities, the minister said that the traders made use of the recent price hike incident of the fuel oil. He also said that the ministry is monitoring the market and hopes that the price will be under control by the next October. The ministers said that no decision has been taken yet on fixing the price of the edible oil and a decision will be taken later. BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir today said that the people are becoming disoriented due to the unusual price hike of the fuel. He made the comment during a press conference at their party chairperson's Gulshan office in Dhaka. The BNP leader also claimed that the government-sponsored syndicates are responsible for the price of hike of fuel. At the same press conference, he extended his party's support to a half-day strike to be enforced by a left Democratic Alliance across the country on August 25th, protesting the price hike on daily essential fuels and fertilizer, as well as transport fares. Food, Hotel, Restaurant Owners Association withdrew their strike at Kuakata in Potuakhali. They made the decision after a meeting with the district administration. Businessmen presented their demands to the concerned authority at the meeting. They discussed about safe drinking water price list, fixing fish prices according to a respective weight, hygienic environment and healthy kitchen. Earlier in the day, tourists suffered a lot since the owner of the hotel and restaurants in the area started their strike, protesting frequent raids of mobile court. Administrative officials said they conducted mobile court so that tourists do not face any cheating in Kuakata. Viewers, we are taking a short break, so stay with us. Welcome back, and you're watching SATV News. A UN chartered vessel laden with grain set off from Ukraine for Africa on Tuesday following a deal to reveal a global food crisis. The MV Brave commander left the Black Sea port of Pevdeni and will sail to Dejavor for delivery to Ethiopia. The ship is carrying 23,000 tons of wheat. It is the first ship chartered by the UN World Food Programme (WFP) to leave Ukraine since the start of the Russian invasion in February. The government hopes 2 or 3 similar shipments will follow soon. Ukraine and Russia are the two of the world's biggest grain exporters. Kiev and Moscow agreed a deal brokered by the UN and Turkey last month to unblock Black Sea grain deliveries after Russia's invasion. North Korea fired 2 cruise missiles from the coastal towns of Oncheon into the water off South Korea's west coast today at early hours. After the launch, South Korea's National Security Advisor held a meeting to assess the security situation and examine the military's preparedness. He said that they are investigating launches after they detected 2 missiles fired from the North Korea's west coast into the sea. The last weapon test took place on July 10 when the North fired what appeared to be multiple rocket launchers. It last tested cruise missiles in January. "25 people were killed in northern Syria on Tuesday after Turkey launched airstrikes and an artillery bombardment targeting Assad regime forces and Kurdish fighters near the border town of Kobane. The Turkish shelling began overnight when the artillery salvos hit the towns and around in its edges. It continued throughout the day. Kurdish YPG militia fighters from the Syrian Democratic Forces responded with a mortar attack on a Turkish military border post in Sanafullah province that killed 1 soldier and injured 4. After the mortar attack, Turkish forces conducted retaliatory fire against the targets in the Kobane area. The Defense Ministry in Ankara said operations in the region are continuing. Now sports. Bangladesh A team suffered their 4-wicket defeat against West Indies A team in the first unofficial ODI of the 3-match series at the Darren Sammy National Cricket Stadium at St. Lucia. As to the bat first, Mohammad Mithun led with side were bundled out for just 80 in 23.2 overs. The batsmen found it difficult in the first and bouncy track of the Caribbean. Only 3 Bangladesh batsmen were able to get to the double figures. Wicketkeeper batsman Zakir Ali top scored for the side, hitting 41 balls to score 25. Pacer Mithunanjay Chaudhary and Maikudul Islam 2 wickets each was not enough to stop the Caribbean side chasing a paltry total. The hosts eventually coasted over the lines in 23.3 overs. Before ending, we go through the headlines again. Bangladesh saw a gross violation of human rights during the military regime after 1975, Prime Minister said to UN Human Rights Chief. Political goodwill of Bangladesh important to counter climate change, said UN Rights Chief Bachelet. Expert emphasizes on increasing capability of renewable fuel and gas uplifting. You're up to date with our top stories so far here on SATV. And to know the latest in SATV news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with us.